Alright guys, what is up, Rapid Attention YouTube? Welcome to today's video. Had to turn the choke off. Got some nice wasp nests in this thing. Welcome to working on a 1974 Mazda rotary engine pickup. We've got to fix a few things on this one little bad unit. If you've been around on the channel long enough, you've seen this truck in a couple of different videos. This truck used to have a half Bridgeport engine, which now is in my truck. And then this truck has the fresh, all ready to go Streetport engine that I had in my truck. So this is still a 4-port 13B. It's old school 13B 4-port, so it's not the same as like a Turbo 2 or an REW. This is way before that. This truck's got a DeLorto side draft carburetor, which, as you can tell, needs a little bit of some tweaking. So that way it's running a little better. We're going to pull the jets out of it, get that thing cleaned up. We're also going to swap a new fuel filter on this bad unit and check the ignition. I think it's missing. It's maybe only hitting on one hole, or one of the leadings is down. I don't know. It sounds funny. Might be carburetor, might be that. The other thing we're building is we're going to build a whole new exhaust for this deal. And no, we're not going to use this huge chambered muffler because that will explode really fast. We have what I believe to be is the best sounding rotary exhaust for not being that loud and obnoxious. And basically what that is a 2.5-inch straight pipe, a header, a 2.5-inch straight pipe, which we've got a header right here. Old school racing beat, super heavy duty. This is one heck of a header. It also weighs like probably 15 pounds. So we've got a big heavy duty racing beat header. We've got some 2.5-inch straight pipage and a straight through bullet muffler 5-inch core. Or I guess it's a 5-inch can with a 2.5-inch core straight through. This setup is what I had on the rally car. It sounds epic. There isn't a better rotary setup than this, in my opinion, for an old school thing. You put the muffler all the way at the back. No piping after the muffler. It's just a turn down tip if you need it. And it gives you this wonderful throaty tone. So that's what we're going to be putting on it. If you've ever seen my rotary truck, which is this one, that's basically what's on that truck. It's 2.5-inch straight piped all the way out to a 2.5-inch rotor shaped muffler versus that one, which is the same effective thing. It's just way cheaper because it's a circle instead of shaped like a rotor. So this truck belongs to my buddy Charles. He has that blue truck that you've seen in the videos, and we put a rotor muffler on his blue truck, the turbo one, and the turbo truck doesn't have a bumper. So this truck has a rear bumper, and we were able to outlet that muffler like right here so you could see the rotor shape. But on this one, because of the bumper, you can't. So we're just going to dump this right behind the bumper right in there, and it should be good to go. You won't get to see all the crazy flames, but it'll basically look exactly like my truck does, which the muffler is just going to turn down and dump right in there. So you can see my muffler shaped like a rotor, which is super cool. And in my opinion, it's $200 worth of cool. But this truck with the bumper, you won't be able to see it if we put a rotor muffler on there anyways, so we'll do the other one. But Charles has had this truck for a really long time. It's kind of, with the blue truck getting more of the priority, this one's gotten a little bit more neglected in the past few years. Just the paint's kind of fading off of it. And it had been repainted in the front, in the roof, and some things have always never quite matched on it. And in reality, it would be great to restore this truck perfect, but it's just a lot of work to restore one of these. The trucks have a ton of places where they rust. We would find more rust than what we think we have. The bed sides are a little beat up on this truck. So one day it'll get painted, but maybe not super soon. So first things first, let's get the carburetor off and get this old exhaust out of the way. And then I'll kind of show you some carburetor tips and tricks in this video, and then we'll just get this exhaust built and see how this thing sounds. We'll have this thing ripping in no time. Florida, much like a Weber, the jets are all in the middle. So when I took this one apart, and I took the vent off, so this is the float bowl vent, this little deal, a little gasket on the bottom. when I took the float bowl vent off, the idle jets were actually loose in here. They were wiggling around. So these look very reminiscent of a Weber jet stack. Emulsion tube, holder, jet at the bottom, air bleed in the top. They are a little bit different, but basically functions the same. So you got 2 stacks of mains, the big boys, and then little pilot jets, little baby dudes. So I'm going to split these apart, run them through the ultrasonic cleaner, get these nice and clean. In addition, down in here are our accelerator pump squirters. There's one on each side. These are your accelerator pump deals, so we're going to get these things cleaned out as well. With Rotary stuff, chambered mufflers like this tend to not last. As you can see, this one's got a nice hole in it. You can hear all the crap inside of it. Everything has been destroyed inside this muffler. That I've found in my Rotary endeavors is that the shorter amount of pipe you can have after your muffler, the better the car will sound. So if you notice on, say, first gen RX-7s, FCs, FDs, they all have the muffler right at the back under the bumper, a tip on it, open atmosphere. On these, whenever you just put a muffler up under the truck, say like in your bed or on a first gen, you put it up in front of the axle and you run a pipe all the way out to your tip, that pipe will resonate and you'll get this really tinny, rappy, nasty sound. And some people might like it. I don't like it. I like the deep, throaty brass. So that's that. I'll put a clip in of my silver car or the rally car or something with the muffler setup we're going to put on here. Wrapping like it should be. He's got a spare tire, but look at this. This spare tire's flat, dry rotted. Ain't really gonna do you much good. So this muffler is gonna sit right about here, just like that. And we'll put a little baby turn down tip on it, and that'll pretty much be it. Alright, my dudes, I had to go get some more welding wire. We've got the Chevy up here to jumpstart this thing because the battery's dead and I need to put on the charger. I've got the jet stuff back in it. We'll see if we got any fuel leaks. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if this dude starts. I am going to go ahead and hit the choke. And really on this, it's more of like a... Oh, stay. Okay, well, the choke's not stoked to stay open. On these DeLordos, it's like an enrichment. It just throws a bunch of extra fuel. It doesn't actually have like a choke valve. Oh, tight jeans, little truck. All right, let's see if she starts. Stay there. Stay. Bet you it falls over, falls out as soon as it starts, but if it starts, that's at least a win. Definitely missing still, but good little note to it. It's got a good little note to it. I think that carburetor still needs some work. It's just, the truck's been sitting for a little while. That carburetor was sitting for a little while before it got put on the truck, because it was on my truck, and you know, it's been used, but I haven't cleaned that carburetor in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years for sure, so. See? That's ignition. Did you hear that pop? Maybe it is ignition that's freaking the truck out. Emotional roller coaster of cars. That carburetor was working great up until I put it in this truck. So this truck did get its own ignition system put back in it when I swapped its engine out a while back. So it could be something in the ignition, maybe bad connection to one of the igniters or something. Seems to be holding idle. I'm gonna move the Chevy out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't die. Man, it's so weird to hear this sound coming from this truck, because this truck has always sounded like it used to sound in my lifetime. We are out of gas. It's coming around. Heck yeah, this thing sounds good. Do a little first and second. Yeah. This thing really does all right. Well, it totally smoked the wrong tire, so you guys didn't get to see the tire spinning because it's open diff. And I tried to do the right rear, but it didn't spin. Super stoked with how this thing's running now. The idle's still a little bit high, which I can dial that back down. No big deal. Had it up because the carburetor was acting a little funny. Now that we got the carburetor cleaned, or at least the jets cleaned out of it, put back on, we got the exhaust finished up. It is still missing the exhaust gaskets on the header flange, and on the actual engine. So I'm honestly surprised it doesn't have more of a tick to it right now. But y'all get the general idea. The thing sounds good. And honestly, I think my only complaint, and this muffler will kind of break in a little bit, is that it does have a tiny bit, and I say it's a tiny bit, it's actually a decent amount. It has a little bit of a drone at like 3,000 RPM, and I don't know if it's because this truck's got a bumper on it that it's reflecting sound forward. This muffler, I don't have a tip on it, but it's effectively the exact same setup as what's on my rotary truck, which is a header, and mine's a rotor-shaped muffler, but it's effectively the same muffler. And it just has this like drone, and I don't know. I need to get that out. So I may take and grab like a tip and put a tip on the end of it and try to just direct the sound out the side of the truck instead of it reflecting off the bumper on this truck. I really don't. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, it is kind of pointing down, but not really. I don't think it's necessary. I don't know. Maybe it is that. Maybe it isn't. I'm not an exhaust super scientist, but for tuning out drone, comment below if you know what to do. The best thing that I know what to do is just to point the tip somewhere else and try to direct the sound away. I think it's just getting caught in that steel bumper and it's reflecting forward, kind of coming up through the tailgate maybe. But my truck doesn't have as much drone as this one does, and literally the only difference is that's a rotor muffler and this is the U-Power muffler, the can. Now, this muffler on the race car, the RX-7, didn't have much drone at all. It had a little bit, but not much drone. So maybe it's the shape of the truck that's doing it. Maybe it's, I don't know, mildly annoying, but I still think that this is one of my favorite sounds. It is the best sounding, like, simple rotary exhaust for an old school rotary that's just easy to put together. It sounds great on a ported engine, sounds great on this. It flows great, and it's just the best. I mean, that muffler's sub $100. You buy a header, you connect the two, put it wherever you can, and you're good to go. So, with that, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it rad. Dog's in the house. We were doing test drive. I'm honestly surprised of two things. One, I didn't run my camera over. Two, no one else ran the camera over in the road. And three, what open diff truck does a burnout on the left rear tire? What is this? It does open diff right rear tire. It's just, it's whatever. Got a lot of smoke out of that thing though.